Hello my friends and welcome back to another video. Today is going to be a reading vlog, but not just any vlog. It is currently Pisces season. Pisces season starts from February 19th till March 20th, and I wanted to read books that were recommended for a Pisces because I am a Pisces. My birthday is March 20th, which is actually the last day of Pisces season, but I just thought this would be so fun. I love the zodiac signs. I love astrology. I love learning about my zodiac signs. If you don't know anything about it, it's fine. This is just for fun anyways. I'm not taking this like super seriously. I'm not saying that I know a ton about astrology or zodiac signs. I don't even know that much about my own. I just feel like sometimes I don't really fit a Pisces. I tend to feel like my moon sign fits me a lot more, which is Scorpio. I'm a Scorpio moon. I thought this would be a fun little experiment to see if I could read some books that fit my zodiac sign and see if they work for me or not, and see if I am maybe more of a Pisces than I thought I was. Now, if you're like, what are the characteristics of a Pisces? If you're asking that question, I will read this to you. This is from the CoStar app. That's not sponsored. I actually really enjoy the CoStar app a lot, but this is what it says. You are fundamentally dreamy, insightful, and in your own world. You exist on a chaotic plane of the divine that is not at all material. Your rich imagination endows you with a strong intuition for hidden emotional currents. When you take offense, it is deeply, and you aren't necessarily interested in reconciliation. So we are going to Google, look for some books that I can add to my TBR and see if any of them sound like something I would like. I'm gonna try to stick as much in my wheelhouse as possible. I'm gonna look for thrillers, mystery, horror, romance, that kind of stuff, just because that is what I tend to read the most of, and I do feel like I'm gonna run into a slight issue because I feel like a lot of fantasy is probably gonna get recommended to me. Fantasy just seems like the genre that would probably go with a Pisces, and I'm not a fantasy girly, so we're gonna see what I can get and hopefully I pick some winners. Okay, so the first article I'm seeing is this Pure Wow article that says 5 books every Pisces should read at least once. Anne of the Green Gables. Okay, add 100 Years of Solitude. That doesn't sound like something I would really want to read. Practical Magic by Alice Hoffman. I have already read that, unfortunately. Gingerbread by Helen Oyeyemi. Interesting. I have read something from this author before, White is for Witching, and I gave it 2 stars. It was just very confusing for me, and I didn't love it. It's about 3 generations of women in London, and the gingerbread recipe that's their curse and their legacy. Okay, there's also Talking Dolls and Cookie Shivs. A wildly imaginative and whip smart. That could be an option, but it does sound like I won't get it and it'll go over my head. The Dreamers, Karen Thompson Walker. A science fiction fairy tale about a mysterious illness that pulls the residents of a fictional California community into a deep, seemingly permanent sleep. Equal parts creepy and moving. Ooh, okay. That one is sticking out to me a little bit more than Gingerbread. So I might have this one at the top of my list so far. This one sounds very, very interesting. Even though it is science fiction, and science fiction is not really my genre of choice, but that one could be good. So we went through the 5. Okay, here's an article from Libby Life, which if you know Libby, it's your online library that you can have an e-library card to. That's what I use for my library. So that's really fun. Oh, it was posted on March 20th of 2023. How fun. Okay, so here's Pisces. Oh wow, Gingerbread comes up again. Very, very interesting. 100 Poems to Break Your Heart. I don't really like poetry, so I probably will not pick that. The Invisible Hour by Alice Hoffman. I actually have an ARC of that book. That could be a potential. I do love Alice Hoffman, at least the Practical Magic series that I've read, so that could definitely be an option. That's all that's there, so moving on to the next article. This one is from the New York Public Library, and it says horoscopes tell us your sign and we'll tell you what scary book to read. Okay, let's see. I am a Pisces. I'm at the bottom as per usual. So let's get to the recommendations. The Haunting of Hill House. I've already read that one. Didn't enjoy it. And then There Were None by Agatha Christie. This could be an option. I don't think I'll enjoy Agatha Christie's writing, so I'm not sure if I really want to include this one, but it could be an option. The Glass Woman by Caroline Leah. Pisces are hopeless romantics, and just like the fish that represent them, they will easily be swept away by this gothic romance. Okay, this could work. I do love a gothic romance, or at least trying them, even though they don't always work for me. And then the last one is Through the Woods by Emily Carroll. Okay, thoroughly imaginative and horrifying, this graphic novel has total Pisces energy. Okay. I have been wanting to read Through the Woods. Okay, this article is from The Lineup. It's Discover New Horror Books to Read Based on Your Zodiac Sign. So I'm gonna have to scroll to the bottom because Pisces is always the last sign. Okay, this is Angel of the Underground by David Andreas. I have never heard of it. Pisces is the sign of the fish and is perhaps the most emotionally delicate of all signs. With their overly trusting nature, sensitive souls, and wild imaginations, Pisces are naturally more prone to fear. I've never heard of this one, so this could be a good one about murderers in a Catholic group home, and this main character who's 15 is put into a foster home to protect her, and she makes friends with a fellow foster kid, and he loves horror movies, which could be great. That's always an option, so I am intrigued by this one. Okay, we'll make this the last one. I don't want to spend too much time. We found a good amount of options so far. This article's from Medium. It's horror novels you should read based on your zodiac sign. Let me scroll all the way to the bottom. Once again, Pisces, The Lost Causes of Bleak Creek by Rhett McLaughlin and Link Neal. Oh, Rhett and Link from Good Mythical Morning, the YouTube channel. I know them. Okay, interesting. Well, I don't know them personally, but I know of them is what I meant. If you love Stranger Things, you're going to love this novel. It's a combination of scary, fun, and one crazy ride. It's chilling, hilarious, and suspenseful all at the same time. Future Erin here to interject really quick. I actually found a YouTube video called Horror Book Recs for the Zodiac Signs by It's Bells, and she recommended for a Pisces They Drown Our Daughters by Katrina Monroe. And this one sounds very interesting. It sounds like a mermaidy water horror, and it sounds like it would be perfect for this video. So I'm adding this to the pile of potentials because now I'm super intrigued. Thank you for making this video because you helped me out. I feel like we got some good options for books. I feel like I found some things that maybe I wouldn't necessarily pick up and I haven't ever heard of, and they could be really different and new, and I like that. I'm gonna try to get almost all of them if I can from my library, so I'm gonna use Libby. I will come back once I've decided what the first book is, and hopefully some of these are winners. Okay, so I've made it about 55% into They Drown Our Daughters by Katrina Monroe, and I have some thoughts about this book, but honestly I feel like I don't know how I feel about it. I will say this does feel like a very stereotypical Pisces book, and that sounds kind of weird because I don't even know what that means, but it's a very water focus. All the characters have this deep innate draw to the water, and it's just like a very water heavy story, which is part of the reason why I picked it. And I do have to admit, I do like the setting. I do like that part of the book. I think books that take place around, near, involving water are very interesting. I just don't know how this is gonna go. But in this book, we are following Meredith. She has recently split from her wife. They're having some marital problems, and Meredith has taken their 5-year-old daughter Alice back to her hometown to stay with her mother Judith. She's from this place called Cape Disappointment, which is kind of a funny name. I don't know. It kind of made me laugh just because of like the stuff that we're talking about in this book. When she gets there and she starts talking to her mother, she realizes her mother's having some like memory issues. She's talking about these ghost stories, right? This cape is supposed to be the home of this like mermaid. It's a big like attraction in this town. They're supposed to have a mermaid. People come to like try and see it and get a glimpse of it. It feels kind of like the Loch Ness Monster to me. Her mother is bringing up some things from Meredith's past, and she doesn't really want her daughter to be affected by it because her mother's telling her that the longer she stays there, the worse it's gonna be for her daughter. Because supposedly this family has kind of a curse on them. All the women in their family have been affected by this, and Judith, her mother, is afraid that Meredith coming back with Alice is going to be for the worse. Honestly, so far it's not a bad book. It feels like it's reading fairly easily, and I'm not having any problems like sitting down and focusing on it. It is one of those stories that is heavy on a generational timeline, so we are getting glimpses of previous women in Meredith's family as well as Meredith's point of view. So we get like Meredith's point of view, we get her mom Judith, and a bunch of other women in the family. So we're getting like several perspectives, and I have noticed that this doesn't always work for me. I feel like I'm one of those people where if you're gonna have multiple perspectives, each perspective has to do something different for me to be excited to read each perspective. Otherwise, I notice I get kind of bored in some perspectives and I want to go back to like whichever one that I'm super into. So right now I feel like in Meredith's point of view, I'm the most intrigued and like I like the storyline the best there. But with these kinds of stories, it's kind of hard to not have those other perspectives because we're getting information, we're getting to see other things through those different women, but like it's just such a hard gamble with books like these for me. Like it's just, I never end up liking all the perspectives, and I just think that sometimes they're kind of unnecessary. With a story like this, there's only so many different directions you can take, and I've read similar stories like this one before. The first one that comes to mind is The Haunting of Alejandra by V. Castro. I don't know if this is really my kind of vibe. It does feel like a very Pisces book though, I will say. I'm glad that I picked it for this vlog because it does feel like it fits very well, and as a Pisces I do have a pull towards water. I don't know if that's like me just thinking it's my Pisces nature, but I do love the water and I do like books that take place around near water or like places with water. So I'm gonna keep reading it, and hopefully when I finish I will have some more thoughts to share with you all. Okay, I am here to check in. So I officially like just finished They Drown Our Daughters, and I don't really know how to explain my feelings about this one because on one hand this book is really predictable, but on the other hand it did kind of like do something that I wasn't expecting, but I didn't really like it. I have very conflicting thoughts on it. I like that this book is very much solely focused on mother-daughter relationships, complicated mother-daughter relationships, which is something that I've said several times that I do really enjoy when books explore that topic. So I did like that aspect. I felt like I was very interested in the present timeline, so Meredith's point of view, because I felt like what was happening in the present day was the most like exciting, and I cared the most about the situation at hand, where I felt like the past POVs, yes, I was getting like little bits of information here and there, I just didn't really care. I like the mystery of the present usually, so I think that was an issue for me in this book. It was very interesting because about halfway, I think around like the 45%, 48% mark, something happened and I was like, whoa, okay. And I felt like I was getting really into the book and I was like, oh, wait a second. But then when everything came together and like I found out what was really going on. That's the thing that I was talking about earlier, where I was like, oh, it took a weird turn that I still don't really fully get. The ending was, this is what I'm talking about. It's so predictable. I called it from the very beginning where the book was gonna go, and so just reading it happen, I was frustrated. It's been done so many times, and I'm not talking about the exact plot, it's just the way the plot proceeded was very typical and obvious. So like overall, I mean, I think it's probably like a 3-star. The other book I've read from this author, Graveyard of Lost Children, I also didn't really love. I felt like it wasn't really up my alley. This author just might not write books that work for me or are my type of like horror or my type of storyline. I do feel like it makes complete sense for this to be included in like a Pisces category. I feel like the setting makes sense. I feel like some of the tropes used, just the water involved story as a whole very much fits Pisces. So I definitely understand why this one was recommended for a Pisces. I get it. And there are things I did like about the book. Yeah, unfortunately we're starting out with a 3-star, but you know, we have like 3 more books at least. So hopefully the next one will be good. I'm gonna start that here in a little bit, so I will probably check in once I get somewhere in that one, and hopefully it is a better fit for me. Alright, let's talk about the next book that I've started. I started Angel of the Underground by David Andreas, and okay, I'm not really enjoying this book. I think I'm currently 60% into this book. So in this story, we are following Robin. She is 15 years old and she was living in a Catholic group home. However, kids from the group home have been found murdered, and so to protect the survivors of the group home, they have been moved into different foster homes to like make it harder for the murderer to find them, I guess. And so Robin goes from living in a very religious situation to being put into a foster home that doesn't have any religious affiliation at all. And so she's kind of like struggling with this new religious situation that she's in, or I guess non-religious situation that she's in, and just also worrying about her own safety and the other kids that are part of the group home's safety. It's not that the writing is bad per se. It's almost like I can't put my finger on why I don't like it, but all I know is I'll read a sentence and then I'll have to reread it because it just doesn't make sense on the first read. So I kind of have to like reread it to like re-comprehend it. This author has also somehow simultaneously made the characters seem younger than 15, but also way older than 15. I feel like some of the vocabulary that Robin uses and some of like her dialogue and sentence structure doesn't come off as like a 15-year-old. And I don't know if that's like trying to say that because she was raised in this religious environment, she became like mature quicker. I don't know if that's like the point that the author is trying to show us. It just comes off very like not realistic feeling and just kind of like awkward. So I'm just not really enjoying it. I don't know. It's reading really quick. I think it's only like 160 pages, so it's more on like a novella side. It's just, I feel like it's gonna be one of those things where it needed more time to be like more thought out. I don't know. I feel like this might have been like a rushed kind of job, so I don't know how the ending's going to feel. Like, I don't know if the ending is going to like feel as rushed as I think it's going to. I'm not really sure. Not really enjoying this one. I'm liking this way less than the previous book, but it is reading faster, so I should be done here pretty soon because I'm already 60% in. So I will update you as soon as I am done with it, and then we can move on to the next one and hope that it is better. Okay, let's start with some positives about Angel of the Underground. It's only 160 pages, so I feel like it flies by extremely quickly. It did not take me a long time to read this one, so I definitely think that is a bonus. Another thing that I liked about this book is Robin makes friends with another foster kid in the foster home she goes to. His name is Dennis, and he kind of shows her the world of horror movies, and she starts like watching them and like kind of understanding why people enjoy horror, which I thought was really cute, and as a horror movie lover myself, I think that's a cute addition. I did really enjoy the relationship between Robin and Dennis. Their friendship is very cute. It does go into the like romantic territory. They are both like 15. I think Dennis might be like 16 or so. It was cute to see them like lean on each other and like have like a good friendship. However, I'm trying to be positive because overall I really didn't like this book. I mentioned earlier that I think the writing is just, I don't know, there's something about it that just didn't quite work. This writing is very heavy-handed. It's definitely trying to say something about religion. It's definitely trying to like have some commentary in there. It's very obvious, and I feel like it kind of loses some of that like power that it could have because it's just not done to the best extent. So for me, it just didn't quite work. I've said this about another book before, but there was a scene in which we see our little Robin, who's 15, remember, she's a young girl. She has a sexual experience exploring her body. She's getting to know herself, and I'm just not comfortable reading male authors writing about these kinds of sexual experiences for young girls. There's something about it. I'm not saying that you have to feel the same way, but for me, there's just something icky there. There's like an underlying thing that it reads really weird. It reads really weird. I can't do it. So that was bizarre. I did get the author's point. I did see why the author was trying to include it. It's just I feel like a lot of male authors feel like they have to include it in a very explicit way sometimes in these coming of age stories for young girls, and it just makes me weirded out a little. Okay, I just didn't love that scene. I was correct in my prediction in the other check-in. I felt like the ending was pretty anticlimactic in terms of just like it's very quick. It just happened really fast. I just feel like it didn't have that build, and then the ending just fell very short and it was over within like 2 seconds. And so I just feel like the ending didn't have a punch. It wasn't really there. It just kind of like whoop, fell off. I just didn't really like this book. I really wanted it to be over, honestly. I wasn't a big fan. I did like what it was trying to do. I just don't think it really succeeded. I don't think the execution was quite there for me. I think I'm probably gonna give it like 2.5 stars. I don't think it fit Pisces very well. Just for me personally, if I was gonna recommend a book based off of Pisces, I would not give it this one. Moving on to book number 3. Hopefully that one, I don't know, hopefully it's a winner. Hey friends, I'm a little late for unboxing some of my Twisted Retreat boxes. I have January and February here in my possession. I haven't had a chance to unbox them, so I wanted to show you all what I got. If you don't know, Twisted Retreat is a book subscription box that also has like horror home goods and like horror decor included in it. You can get the subscription box with like everything, or you can just get the books, and it's a monthly subscription, so I think it's really cool. I have a code with them. You can use Erin5 to get 5% off subscriptions or anything else on the site. So first up, we get this set of die. I believe I was also supposed to get like a TBR game with it, but mine didn't come with one. I think it was just like an accident that I didn't get it. I don't know if you're gonna be able to tell like the eyes in there, but very, very cool. I actually don't have a set of die, so I actually think that's really awesome. We got this stainless steel storage bowl, which I definitely will use in my kitchen. I think that's really awesome. On the top it says an antidote to any pain. I don't know if you'll be able to tell, but yeah, it's actually a really nice sized bowl. I feel like you can do a lot with it. We also got this vegan hot chocolate. It's with coconut milk. Well, I love hot chocolate and I love coconut milk, so we got this Raven candle. The top has Edgar Allan Poe. That's so cute. I love candles and I just think this one's really cool. I love Edgar Allan Poe. Ooh, it has a very like musky scent. It smells really, really good. Then we got this little wizard spoon holder, which I think is just so adorable. You can see right there that it like sits on your pots, so that way you don't like set it down and like dirty your counter. Oh my gosh, look at how cute. I love this so much. What a fun little kitchen gadget. Oh my god, this is gonna be actually so handy as well. Then we got this Sweeney Todd kitchen scale. Mrs. Lovett's meat pies. Weigh with caution, for the balance of life and death lies in your hands. Fresh today. Disclaimer, Mrs. Lovett's kitchen scale is not responsible for any unexpected culinary transformations. Use at your own peril. That's so funny. Look at that. That is actually so freaking cute. I love that. Oh look, I've never had a kitchen scale before. That's so cute. We got this Pet Cemetery tarot card, which I love the tarot cards. And then to go with this month's box, or January's box, we got this Bone Pendant Dust. It is a bath fizzy, like a little bath bomb. How cool. When I take baths, I don't take baths too often, but when I do want like a little like bath bomb, like something situation, because it just makes baths more fun. So, and then the book is Bone Pendant Girls by Terry S. Friedman. Look at how beautiful this is. Oh my gosh. But look at the sides. Oh my god. Absolutely stunning. This is what it looks like without the cover on. Oh, I love it. This is the side. So pretty. So pretty. And then the cover is actually reversible, so you can have the original cover if you want, instead of the exclusive cover that you got with the box. So you can actually switch it around. How fun is that? How beautiful. I don't know anything about this book. I have never heard of this book at all. The inside's absolutely stunning. Wowza. Two mysterious bone pendants pull Andy Wyndham into a frantic search for teenage runaways to save them from a dangerous serial killer before he targets Andy herself. Ooh, okay, never mind. That actually sounds really, really good. Okay, as for the February box, there was kind of a mix-up and some of us didn't get the items that everyone else got, and I'm one of those people that didn't get the same items that were in like the actual box. So I got some like past items, I believe, but I got this You-inspired pin, which I love you, and I actually collect pins. I have a little push pin, like a coffin push pin board where I like put my pins on them. So I'm definitely gonna put this one on here because how freaking cool. Then we got this spring movie inspired body oil. It says Prosecco, Cranberry, and Secrets. Ooh, this is actually like a huge bottle too. Like this is huge, like compared to my hand. Look at how big this is. It smells of very, very like fruity and like warm. I love that. Oh, that smells really, really, really good. Then I got this little carob bite. It's strawberry and banana. It's a little snack, a little cute snack. I love the little snacks. And then we got this Dracula inspired double-sided book sleeve. Look at how big and beautiful this is. Oh, I love it. It actually comes with a zipper as well. Look at how big that is. Oh, it's huge. I feel like this is such a good like item for book lovers. I mean, I know I collect book sleeves, so this is definitely one that I can add to my collection. And then I obviously got some items that weren't in this month's box. So I got Sally's Deadly Nightshade. This is a vitamin B face and body toner. Look at this. Oh, I love anything Nightmare Before Christmas, and I actually love toner. So this will be very, very cool. Yeah, I absolutely love that I got this. I know like I wasn't supposed to because it wasn't in this month's box, but I'm actually super excited about this. But it's a spine shelf decor. Look at how cool! Look at how cool it is! Oh, I love it. This is gonna look so cool on my bookshelves. Like, I absolutely love this. And then I got these 2 metal cups. They say you are the absolute worst idea I've ever had, with some little pictures on it. And the other one says history, huh? Bet we could make some with like Big Ben on it. These are definitely from Red, White, and Royal Blue, which I absolutely love that book and the movie. So I'm pumped to have these. I think these are so freaking cute. And I will 100% be using these because why wouldn't I? We actually got 2 books in this month's box, and the first one is Sugarcane by Cassandra Celia. I don't know anything about this, but the back says work, eat, sleep, repeat, and this is what it looks like. This is the spine, and then this is the back. Have no idea what this is about. Oh god, look at the inside. Ooh, that's freaky. And the other book is In the Roses of Pieria by Anna Burke. I think that's how you pronounce this. I have no idea. Never heard of this one either, but the cover is absolutely stunning. Look at those mushrooms. So cool. Here is the side. Here is the back. Look at these beautiful sprayed edges with the mushrooms. Oh my god. Absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning. This is what the inside looks like. Gorgeous. This is what the front looks like. So pretty. And here is the back. So stunning. Oh my god, I'm obsessed with this one. So cute. And then the cover is also reversible, so you can use the original cover if you want. If you like that one more or you want to switch it up, you can just turn it over and pick which cover you like. Yeah, never heard of this one either, but it says that it is a daring queer dark fantasy romance teeming with sensuous vampires, dark academia, plant horrors, and terrifying fungal fae. A little out of my comfort zone. Remember, you can use code Erin5 if you want 5% off any subscriptions or anything else off the site. If you want to check it out, the link and my code will be down below. We have had a strange turn of events. My friends, this 3rd book that I have started, I am 71% in. I started it last night and I have been eating it up, okay? This is strange for me because this book is something that I probably shouldn't like based off of my track record with other books that are like in similar genres or like have similar tropes used. This book should not work for me. Should not work for me. It really shouldn't. So it's kind of wild. But I am currently reading and pretty much almost done with The Dreamers by Karen Thompson Walker. Fiction, science fiction, fantasy, mystery, lit fic, and dystopia. Yeah, it definitely has a very lit fic writing style, which again is something that sometimes, more often than not, doesn't really work for me. This is about this college in a small Southern California town, and these college kids start getting sick, but this sickness is really weird because what happens is they fall into this like perpetual state of sleep. They just cannot wake up. They fall asleep and, you know, you can see their eyelids twitching like they're in REM, but like you just can't wake them up. They're basically almost dead, but they're just in such a heavy, heavy, deep sleep. And it starts spreading, and you're kind of following different people, but they're all like having different situations and they're kind of having different problems within this bigger problem, and so you're following several characters through this story. It's weird, okay? One, I'm not a science fiction girly. Science fiction is something that just like, it just never really works for me. I don't know what it is. I've never been into science fiction, movies, books. It just doesn't work. I don't like virus, quarantine, heavy books. I think our own pandemic is probably the reason that it kind of triggers me a little bit. I don't like being taken back to 2020. It just is like something that I don't really want to think about, especially when I'm trying to escape in books. Overall, in general, virus horror or like that kind of like contagion horror has never been something that I've enjoyed. Even when I was like younger or pre-pandemic, it's just not something I enjoyed. So really, this book has a lot of things stacked against it that should make me absolutely hate it. Absolutely should just not love this book. But for whatever reason, it is working so well for me. I don't know. I think it's like the sleep part. I think it's because the virus puts people to sleep. It just feels different. It just feels different. And I'm not saying it's less scary, because honestly, when I started reading the book, I was like, is this gonna give me anxiety? Am I gonna think that when I fall asleep, I just won't wake up? And then it's gonna make it harder for me to fall asleep at night, which honestly is a very appropriate question to ask, because I do have a very hard time falling asleep at night and I do get anxiety before falling asleep. So this probably wasn't like the smartest book for me to read, but for whatever reason, I don't know, it just is working. It's one of those books where the characters you're following, you don't really get to know a lot about them. Like, you're kind of just in the situation with them. If you need to get to know characters like really deeply and like really thoroughly to get attached to them, I don't know if you would love this type of book, because you just don't get a lot of information about them. But honestly, with this type of story, I think it helps that I don't know that much about them, because I think if I was spending so much time getting all this like background information on these characters, I would get bored and I'd be like, I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. And honestly, the literary style of writing, I'm actually really enjoying it as well. I think it's actually very nice and very like easy to read and to comprehend. It doesn't feel like I'm too stupid to get it or it's like going over my head. Do I think a bunch of people are gonna like this book? Absolutely not. I'm genuinely shocked that I like it as much as I do. So far, this is falling between like a 4 and a 4.5 for me. I think the ending could make or break it for me, but I can't see this being lower than a 4 stars because I'm having so much fun and I'm already 71% in and I'm having a great time. So unless we take like a really sharp left turn, this is looking like a really good one for me, which I'm excited. And I definitely feel like this one does fit a Pisces, just because Pisces are known to be dreamy, imaginative, kind of like escapists, and I feel like this book just feels like that. I mean, it's called The Dreamers, and I think the sleep aspect is just so interesting, and I definitely see why this was recommended. I'm really excited to keep reading, and hopefully I love it after I finish it. So I officially finished The Dreamers, and I have to say that I really enjoyed this one. I don't know why, I don't know how, and I enjoyed like every second of it. I think I'm going to give it 4.5, mostly because I do feel like I do have some questions that just weren't fully answered, or at least some topics that I would have like expanded upon just like a smidge more. It reminds me a little bit of how I thought I was gonna feel about Sea of Tranquility by Emily St. John Mandel. I kind of thought that it was gonna be the like sci-fi story that would like really get me, but I didn't enjoy that one as much. I think I gave it like a 3.5. So I think that like what I expected to get from that book, I got from this one, The Dreamers. They're not like super duper similar. I think it was just like my expectation of the book. It's super impressed. I didn't think this was gonna be the one that I liked the most so far. We have one last book to try out and see what it does for me, and hopefully I like it and enjoy it. friends, I am here for an update. I'm doing my makeup while I'm updating you all because I thought, why not do them at the same time and get them both done? But I am about 76% into the fourth and final book. You're probably thinking, wow, you're really far into it. Yeah, I'll tell you why I'm so far into it. The fourth book that I started reading was The Glass Woman by Caroline Leah. It's interesting, I'll say that much. But in this book, we are following the main character, Rosa. She's living in Iceland in 1686. And her father has recently passed away and her mother is really, really sick. And she decides to get married. And the person that she decides to get married to, he is really, really wealthy. He does live somewhere else. He's like a tradesman, I think. And she knows that he'll be able to provide for her family back in her hometown. This guy has had a previous wife. His first wife died from this illness, and there are rumors that he was seen burying her really, really, really late at night alone. And it just seems a little suspicious. She thinks that being with him is going to be more good than anything else and that these are just rumors, so she decides that she doesn't really care what everyone's saying. However, when she gets there and she gets to the town that he lives in, he's basically like, do not talk to the townspeople. They like to spread gossip. They like to, you know, just like talk a bunch of rumors. So she's kind of like, okay, but the townspeople aren't really like that friendly either. Their greeting is very frosty, and she's kind of like, that's interesting. I wonder why. The other thing is when she moves into his house, she starts like hearing things. There's also a room or like a loft that she's not allowed into because it's locked all the time. And I don't know, she's just not really feeling like this is working out as she planned, as she hoped it would. He's a little bit more intense and he has very high and strict expectations for what he wants his wife to be. You know, a very good Christian woman who's very obedient, who's very ready and willing to please him, and just doesn't say much and just does all the stuff he wants her to do, like all the house chores, make him lunch, make him dinner, clean, sew his clothes, all that kind of stuff. She does end up making a friend in the town, and this woman is pretty friendly, and she's just kind of like, if you need help, let me know. If you experience weird things, let me know. But she can't get like a ton of information out of these people because they don't want to say too much. They don't want to anger this very important tradesman to their town. So the reason I waited so long to update you all, and I kind of waited till I was really far into the book, is because nothing was happening. I know, Gothic, it's a lot of buildup, it's a lot of atmosphere. It's very much about the expectations for women from their husbands, especially during that time period because this is taking place during the 1600s. So you know, like what a wife looks like to men. The romance is definitely there. There is a romance. It's definitely more like a slow burn romance because there's not a lot of opportunities for it to thrive, I guess. So there's just like not a lot of like things going on, a lot of like lingering looks, a lot of smiles, a lot of like just that kind of stuff. There's also like an element of witchcraft. It is kind of a big part of the story. I expected it to be a little bit different, but it is there. I do really enjoy the setting. I like that it's in Iceland. We also get some like Icelandic folklore. The horror is very, very minor. I honestly don't even know if I would consider this a horror book. I think I would consider this more a historical fiction, Gothic romance with like a little bit of mystery. I don't think there are enough horror elements in this story story to count. I was hoping that the story was going to take a turn. That's why I was reading so far into the book before updating, because there was like some information that I found out and I was like, oh, I want to know what's going on. But when I did find out, I was a little sad. I feel like it didn't really go the places that I was expecting it to go. So if I had to rate this book just off of how I'm feeling right now, 70-ish% in, it'd probably get a 3-star from me. I'm not like hating it, but I'm not really like loving it either. That's pretty much all I have to say. So I will check in again when I finish the book, and hopefully I have more to tell you all and have more feelings. Alright, so I finally finished our last book in this reading vlog, and I honestly don't have too many thoughts about this one. It was fine. I think a 3-star makes a lot of sense for me. I liked certain aspects of the book. I think the worst thing about this book for me was like how slow it was, which is one of my biggest things with Gothic. I think sometimes the slow factor works in its favor and it works for me and it's all good and, you know, hunky-dory. But then sometimes I just find that like it drags so much, and unfortunately I feel like this is that case. A chunk taken out of it, like a good maybe 100 pages shorter, I think I would have actually enjoyed it a lot more. It felt like a chore to read and I just felt like I wasn't really invested, or I didn't really care about the characters. If I was rating it on the last 30%, I'd probably give it 4 stars, but since I have to include like the whole 100% of the book, it's more of a 3-star for me. I did like a lot of the topics that were touched on. I just felt like when you put it all together as a whole, it didn't quite work for me. Unfortunately, we're ending more on the lower end of the spectrum here for this vlog, but to be fair, I did get a 4.5 in this vlog, which is pretty insane for me. I feel like my ratings have been really low this year and I feel like I haven't enjoyed many books. Definitely very interesting. I would really like to do this, but with my other signs, so like my moon sign and my rising sign. So let me know if you would be interested in seeing me try like different zodiac signs and reading their books and seeing if I can figure out which fits me best. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed watching me read these books and hear my opinions, and hopefully they were kind of different books than you expected and books that maybe you hadn't heard of. You'll have to let me know in the comments. Give me a thumbs up. If you haven't already, feel free to subscribe to my channel. I also have a Patreon link down below. We can become friends, talk about books, horrifying books, thrilling books, romance books, manga, all that good fun stuff. And with that being said, I hope you're having a great day, night, morning, afternoon, wherever you are, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!